Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back to another custom map battle for Total War Warhammer. Today we are looking at Fort Yankova, which is a really nice unique map on the workshop. Not only is it a custom siege battle which has working walls of soldiers in place on them, but it also has a really cool kind of, I guess, tower, even if you can call this a tower. Well, basically it's a ship which acts as a tower. So this ship shoots out cannonballs from its guns on either side of the ship, hitting the oncoming attackers. It does have a kind of a small arc, so if the attackers can rush through the field of pain, I guess, they can kind of get on the other side and the cannons won't be that effective. However, you know, once they do get on that other side, they will be scot-free, but whilst they're in the actual arc, they'll be taking a pounding from the cannons on this ship. And I thought it's just a really nice unique way of introducing towers into this actual map itself. As well as that, the map has some really nice architecture, some really nice swooping bridges for defense. It also has these kind of turret bases which allow you to kind of traverse from one part of the terrain to the other and kind of climb up to the next part of the city itself. It also has a capture point and a dwarven kind of district back here, I guess, as well. So I really do enjoy the fact that there is a ship kind of an anchor in the actual city itself. It kind of acts as like a really unique thing, and as I said, I haven't really seen any of the maps do this in the custom workshop yet either. So this is going to act for a really nice kind of interesting gameplay mechanic. So let's go and get started into the army comps. We'll start off with my army. I am playing as the Empire. I gave the attackers, this is a 2v1 as well, by the way, and I gave the attackers, I think, around about 10,000 more gold than me, so in total they have 10,000 more gold. So even though I believe I have more men than them, they have higher quality, much higher quality of units. So the main force of my army is going to be made up of these grunt swordsmen of the Empire. Behind them, we'll have some more elite swordsmen kind of scattered around the city, acting as my more elite vanguard forces to go ahead and push in when things look dire. As well as that, I have some Hellstorm rocket batteries back here as well to go ahead and just hammer the attackers as they try and advance closer and closer to my battle lines. I also have some elite demigryphs who are going to be making up my kind of elite cavalry force to hit them enemy giants and trolls and anything else they decide to bring to the battlefield itself. I also have Colfrans on top of Deathclaw and a steam tank, which will hopefully be helping me out in these kind of quite narrow choke points which the map does provide. If we look at the enemy forces, they are playing, as I mentioned, as the Chaos and the Beastmen, and their forces are split up into three. They have one force on the far right, which is mainly made up of elite Chaos Warriors. These are just Chaos Chosen, the scariest Chaos Warriors have to offer at the moment in Total War Warhammer. They are supported by two Beastmen giants and a Chaos Giant as well. So on this right flank, we have three giants, which is pretty scary, and some more Chaos Chosen with great weapons. They're going to be pushing up this right hand side and attacking this gate, which currently has some of my gunners armed on top of the wall, which looks good. Then in the center point, and probably the point which is going to be getting smashed the most by the ship tower, is going to be a mix of Ungor forces and of the Chaos troops. So you have some Chaos Warriors, just normal, no great weapons. Behind them we have some Ungor Raiders, I believe, and then they also have some Bestigor, so some more elite Beastmen units. These guys are pretty strong and are really a match for any soldiers that they come up against. There's also a Chaos Sorceress Lord of Death, and I'm pretty sure there's a Brave Shaman around here and a Hell Cannon over there. Then if we take a look on the far left hand side, we can see the kind of the majority of the Beastmen forces, which are combining a bunch of Minotaurs with a Gorbel and a Cygor, and just a huge amount of these gore herds, some with shields, some with not, and these guys are vanguard deployed forward, ready to go ahead and assault the castle wall which they're currently looking at. Luckily I have some gunners up here which are going to be laying down the hurt, but it's going to be, you know, a difficult fight, that is for sure. So let's get this battle started, and we will start off by watching this ship unleash brutal amount of cannonballs into the Chaos forces as they try and advance through this central point. As well as that, you can actually see, if we take a look, can I see it if I select it? We can't actually see the arc, but the arc does run out around about here. So if these Chaos soldiers can get through as a Hell Cannon blast comes flying off, is it going to hit? Is it going to hit? Ooh, just over the heads and into the bridge. That was pretty lucky. But yeah, if they get past this kind of death zone right here, they'll be in a really good situation to keep on pushing. But hopefully this cannon can keep on shooting from the ship and do plenty of damage. I can definitely use maybe take out the hell cannon, but you can see the shots that it is incurring on the enemy forces as more cannonballs come flying in. And you can just see, you know, this has taken out a decent amount of Chaos Warriors already as we begin this battle. So I'm definitely very impressed, and it's continuing to do so as well, leaving so much death in the wake. There we go as well. We have the Hellstorm rocket battery now opening up on these Chaos Soldiers. The Hellstorm rocket battery is actually all the way up here right now, so it has a long range to shoot, but these guys are honed in on this archway right there. And I mean, just look at the explosions going on down there. That is pretty epic. We are going to slow-mo it quickly because I believe there is some fighting over on this far right-hand side. There is some fighting on this side, so I wanted to make sure I watch it as we see the beastmen climb up. Again, the ladders are glitched out, but again, I kind of like this for the tribal, like, well, not the tribal units, but for like the orcs and the beastmen. I feel like it makes sense for them like climbing up ladders or something like that. They're just kind of like finding their way in because they have kind of weird hands and these guys have hoofs and stuff. They're kind of using that to their advantage to scale the defenses of the Empire. And I mean, these swordsmen are getting, or these gunners are getting wrecked by the gore herds with shields. They're putting out their muskets, but they're going to have to get the hell out of there. I believe we're going to have some great swords being pushed up to help them out any second now. And we also have the, oh god no, we have the gate has been smashed down. And I feel very, very sorry for these halberds who are now just formed up. As soon as these Minotaurs realize where to go, this Gorball is going to rip through the halberdier line. Holy crap, so many bloods going flying there, and intestines and body parts. These Minotaurs are brutal as that Gorball just goes flying forward. And I have 2 units of halberdiers here, but I think it's going to be too much for these halberdiers, and especially with the support of the rest of the beastmen coming pouring through, the sheer numbers of the enemy forces are going to be hectic, and my kind of lower quality army is not going to be doing too great. I think we're going to get some missile fire coming in from the Ungor herds. Yeah, we are. Some archer fire coming in. Actually finding their marks on plenty of these Empire soldiers. And then we're going to have some Bestigors come flying in. And these Bestigors are going to be way too good for the Empire swords. I'm really, really scared for them. We do have some gunners set up over here, finding in and zoning in on these Chosen. Oh my god, not the Chosen, on the Forsaken, sorry. The Forsaken are going to be getting ripped apart from these gunners. They have such low armor. However, the Giants, the Beastmen Giants, are working their way down on this gate. Luckily, I managed to take down at least one Giant down to like a 3rd health. So that's pretty good for us. However, we definitely do need to do plenty more damage. The Empire Swordsman can just see the Giant just cracking through the gate itself, and they are just getting ready to hold firm against the enemy forces. My soldiers on this far right flank have been utterly annihilated by the Minotaurs and the Gorball. Like, my Empire soldiers really don't stand a chance, and I mean, we do have some floating gore herds as well, which is not going to go great for us. But my Empire soldiers are literally going to turn and run with a few gunners who are going to be forming up and trying to get like one more shot off. But even then, they are going to turn and flee as the rest of the Beastman army comes advancing down upon them. I believe I sent my reserves all the way back now. Yeah, you can see I'm running my reserves back as fast as I can, trying to get them back out of the field. Because I think that they just won't stand a chance against the Minotaurs. I also have some defenses back here by the Dwarven District, some more great swords. But again, even these guys aren't really a match for the majority of the Beastman army which is coming. We can see a huge push here as Kazrak, the One-Eye, advances forward across this bridge and continues to push on against my great swords and my spearmen and my halberdiers here. They're going to soon be followed by a bunch more of these Chaos Warriors. Luckily, my swordsmen are holding them at bay for now. And again, I love the background as we have more Hellstorm rocket batteries coming in and finding their mark, which is great. But as you can see, this ship now is pretty much useless for the defenders. It's kind of like there just to kind of harass the attackers. Granted, it is still finding some pretty big hits over here. I believe it's still in range right here and getting some shots across this mountain. I'm pretty sure I am still using it to shoot, and you can actually direct it as well to where you want it to shoot, which I thought was really cool that is a thing. Over on this far right hand side, we have my demigryphs being pushed into the engagement right here. I'm hoping that we can take care of these giants, but I mean, there's 3 goddamn giants right here, 2 beastmen, 1 chaos and some chaos spawn. So my hippogriff or my demigriffs right here are going to be in a very, very difficult job. As well as that, we also have a manticore as well in the engagement. So many enemy monsters right here. I definitely did not bring enough spearmen and halberdiers and gunners to take care of these guys. I think I have managed to go and get these gunners out of here now. They held their own against the advancing forces here and managed to retreat. The rest of my swordsmen are being pushed in, but again, these swordsmen are not going to stand a chance. You can see them already getting annihilated. And I think even my demigriffs as well are going to go and get beaten back just because they don't have enough supporting them. Maybe if they had a unit of gunners helping them out, which these guys are going to be forming up and trying to do, but I still just don't think it is enough right now. If these guys maybe can lay down the fire, I mean, but they are pretty low. One of the giants is pretty much dead. Another one is getting very, very close. And you just saw that volley there going directly in on one of the giants. I just don't think I have enough troops here to bide myself time. Maybe if I had some halberdiers and some great swords, that would be okay. But just, you know, we do have a ton of Chaos Chosen here. So it's not an easy task as another giant goes flying down there. Hopefully we can maybe take down one more. Cole Franz himself has even come into the battle to try and help out these gunners. He's like, leave my gunners alone, as he comes flying in and just demolishes that giant, that beastman giant right here. So it is only the Chaos Giant that does still remain, and he does have some brave Empire swords still trying their best. I'm surprised these Empire swords are still here against this kind of mighty, mighty enemy force. If we look over on the bridge, we can see that the bridge has been completely lost right now as more Chaos Warriors come flying forward, pushing up through these kind of like bastion turret things, and they keep on making their way up through the terrain. Again, I really like this as like a way to kind of advance through the terrain in a very simple way. It also does allow you to create choke points like this where your soldiers are kind of just waiting out by the gate for soldiers to come flying through. Now, it does look a bit silly when you do have, say, just soldiers teleporting through gates, but, you know, this does provide for a pretty nice choke point for the defenders to use. The enemy forces are pushing up in full force, and my soldiers are in quick retreat right now. We have my great swords falling back across the bridge, and these guys are going to be going down here for the final choke point, which is over here, which is the final defense point. We have some bats coming down, harassing some of my gunners. Hopefully my soldiers can take it out. My steam tank has been pretty non-existent in this battle so far. Just getting a few cannon shots off. I definitely could have used it elsewhere. I think we have a devolved coming in. No, we don't. We have a soul blight coming in on these guys, reducing their armor. I did try and retreat them back a little bit, but hopefully that'll run out by the time the enemy forces come over. So now my final units of Empire swords are just surrounded, and the Chaos Chosen along with the giants are going to be taking them out. Cole Franz did manage to slay with Gal Miraz. He managed to slay this beastman giant. However, several gunners did manage to fall from the engagement itself. So the enemy are getting ready to hit us here. Cole Franz is going to go after these bats very soon. And this Gorbel has managed to catch my great swords along with his crew of Minotaurs. And these guys, again, are just getting cut to goddamn pieces right now. I really, really should have brought more halberdiers. And because I didn't, this just absolutely screwed me. Now, I think I did give the enemy a bit too much money to make this a bit balanced. I just wasn't sure how good the actual wall itself was going to be, and maybe I should have told them to maybe bring a few more cheaper units, because this is a 2v1, so they did have 10k more than me, but I just wasn't sure how these defenses were, and that's what's going to be like sometimes. Sometimes we're not going to have super balanced games because, you know, this is the first time we're testing out the map. Hopefully going forward I get a better feel for it. These Chaos Chosen are literally so badass. They're just walking past this Empire gate, not giving a fuck at all. They look absolutely great as we keep on pushing. Lots of dead though, but I definitely did manage to kill a fair amount of them, but nowhere near enough. There are so many of my Empire dead bodies alongside the Chaos Chosen. But, you know, we did manage to take down a lot of the giants, which is great. We are now suffering a pretty heavy assault on the main kind of choke point now, as we have this ship in the background as well. If only this ship could turn around, you know, lift anchor and keep pushing around. I like to think maybe it only has a couple men crewing it, and that, you know, everyone else is defending here, so whatever was left on the crew are just kind of operating with guns and they can't move it around, which would have been amazing if you could move this, but I don't think that's possible in Terry. Maybe it is, who knows. So Kazrak One Eye is leading the charge, and I'm pretty impressed that he is kind of advancing forward on his Razor Gore chariot. The Great Swords are trying to get stuck in, and I believe, yeah, more Chaos Warriors. The Chaos Warriors are just marching. They don't even care as they get closer and closer into the enemy front lines. Look at them. They literally don't care one bit, as they just now get ready to engage the greatsword line. So luckily I do have greatswords here. I believe Cole Franz has now managed to rout back the enemy. I'm popping a few buffs right now with my light wizard. I'm popping my boost to go ahead and give them more armor and melee defense, which I really hope will help out. And we can see Cole Franz here. He's just slayed another manticore on the battle lines. However, we're soon to be enveloped right in a second. Some of my greatswords have now been caught again by the Minotaurs and the Gorbel, and these guys are just tearing my front line apart right now. They're going to be running from the field of battle very soon, and that's going to allow them to push down. Well, there's actually a really cool, like, dwarven, I guess, anvil here. That's really nice. That looks great. So them guys, once they get over here, they can go down this bridge and they'll come out here. So I do have some Sons of Sigmar ready to receive them. However, the Sons of Sigmar, I have no halberdiers and no way of dealing with the enemy forces. As well as that, we have some great swords over here being chased down by some more of my soldiers. The Empire is in full retreat right now as the Chaos Chosen keep on coming. Luckily, my steam tank is shooting at the enemy. And I think we have a few crossbows, or are these crossbows routing from the field? Yeah, these crossbows are routing along with all of these troops right here. That is not good news one bit. Cole Franz is going to have to make a drastic decision right here, and he has done exactly that. He has charged down to try and kill the enemy generals. He thinks if he can go and break these soldiers, maybe he can win the day. The enemy sorceress is a Lord of Death right here, so maybe if Cole Franz can get into melee right here with Gale Miraz and Deathclaw, he can kind of do the killing blow, kill Kazarak, rout the Beastman, and then kill the Chaos Lord and then destroy him. We do still have a steam tank at our disposal as well, which is picking away at the enemy advance, but these guys are just cutting down my routing troops as they stand. Again, another perfect hit on the Giant. The Giant must be low. The Giant's not actually that low, which is pretty scary at this point, as the Chaos Chosen just dismember my routing troops. And another perfect hit by the steam tank. The steam tank is going in against them soldiers. However, the Gorbel and the rest of the Minotaurs have now reached down onto the Sons of Sigmar and my last unit of swordsmen. And it's up to these guys just to try and slow them up and allow Cole Franz to do his best as more Minotaurs make their way down through the actual defenses. This is not looking good for the Empire, and we just have to do our best to hold our line as best as we can. These Empire soldiers are just getting sent flying onto the tusks of the Minotaurs and then just pushed up flying into the air. It's like when you see a killer whale playing with its food. Just throwing the seals up. That's what these Minotaurs are doing to my soldiers. The rest of my great swords are falling back. The steam tank is going to be ready to receive the enemy. Again, getting another perfect shot off from the Giant. Did it take it down or did it just knock it out? Yeah, they didn't take it down, but I mean, it's getting some pretty good shots off. However, it's going to get stuck into melee combat with the Chaos Chosen very, very soon. How is Cole Franz doing? Has Cole Franz... Where is he? Where is Cole Franz? Has he been beaten back? I believe Cole Franz routed from the field of battle, which is not like Cole Franz at all. He has decided to get the hell out of this engagement as soon as he can, and he has fled for his life. He has abandoned the fortress and taken Deathclaw and escaped from the battle, which is a cowardly maneuver by Cole Franz. But I guess he is the leader of the Empire and he needs to kind of rally soldiers. So he's abandoned his men to torment and death, which is a move I do not respect as a player who plays the dwarves quite a lot. I like my generals to stand to the last and fight to the bitter end, which is what Cole Franz has left these Empire swords to do, without any support from himself. I mean, he maybe could have turned this around if he managed to kill some of the enemy generals. I believe the Chaos General is pretty healthy, but Kazarak is extremely low. However, I think that is all she wrote for this engagement. The steam tank is soon to be surrounded, and the battle for this fort is going to be over extremely soon. The Beastmen are just going to work their way down, killing the rest of these great swords. And then once they do that, the great swords are going to rout as the Chosen come flying in. And then it's just up to the steam tank to be destroyed. And I think the steam tank actually gets killed pretty quickly. I think it's because they're surrounded by Chaos Chosen and by some Bestigors and by Kazrak as well. I believe Kazrak has some arm-piercing abilities. So even if a steam tank does take down a few of them, I definitely didn't optimize this. This was not a good battle for me kind of running through my stats. Like running through my strategies in this battle. It was a very poorly executed battle on my part. I was talking to the stream, which was kind of, you know, my excuse here, but still, that was extremely bad on my part. So it was a valiant defeat. You know, I feel like I gave the enemy way too much money there. It was just so many giants and elite chaos warriors, and I just kind of didn't have enough soldiers. My my light wizard actually got 200 kills, which we didn't see a single one of them. I think it was some vortex spells he used. My gunners did good, and obviously my Hellstorm rocket batteries did absolutely amazing. If we look at the enemy forces, we can see their Giant and Chaos Spawn getting over 100 kills, which is pretty nice. The Beastman army, we can see Kazrak getting almost 400 kills, and the Minotaurs getting a couple hundred as well. So very impressive. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.